Hey there, Facebook. I'm holding this camera close to me because I'm used to not having a microphone on, but I have a microphone on. So anyway, just touching base with you guys because it occurred to me that there might be a pipeline fight going on nearby where you are that you might be able to support, you might want to support, you might not know about. So just to name a few of the resistance camps that I know of, or the states that they're happening in, there's one, Camp Promise, that just popped up in Flint, Michigan. And they're making a stand in Flint, Michigan because their water is poison. Like in Flint, Michigan, their water is already poison. So for them to make a stand for clean water seems really seems like a really evident, important thing that, I shouldn't have to explain it. But in Michigan, they're making a stand to protect the water. And that's in Flint, Michigan. So if you live anywhere near Flint, Michigan, then consider that. There's also the Lancaster Stand in Pennsylvania. That's in Amish country. In Pennsylvania, they're trying to stand up against the pipeline there. I think it's the Atlantic Sunrise Pipeline is going in over there in Pennsylvania. So if you're in Pennsylvania, consider joining the Lancaster Stand, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. In Iowa, there's the Little Creek Camp. They're resisting the DAPL, I believe. They're in Iowa resisting the Dakota Access Pipeline. So if you're in the Midwest, there's a lot of options. There's camps going up in Ohio. I'm not sure exactly where those are at. Maybe somebody watching this knows better. But there's also there's a couple of camps in Oklahoma. They're resisting the Diamond Pipeline in Oklahoma. There's also the Two Rivers Camp in Texas. They're resisting the Trans-Pecos Pipeline. And I'm sure there's some that I'm missing. You guys, there's a resistance camp in Florida. They're resisting the Sabal Trail Pipeline, and each one of these places has their own rules and regulations, but one that is common across all the camps, as far as I know, is just no drinking or drugs allowed. And for a lot of us, we're dealing with some heavy-duty trauma, whether it's from our previous life, whether it's poverty or reservation life or abuse or neglect, or even just the public institutions that we have to be subjected to as part of our lifestyle in the United States. We end up with this trauma. So a lot of us end up with this trauma, and we end up self-medicating, turning to drugs or alcohol. And no matter which camp you go to, if you go to one of these camps, then please just don't bring any drugs or alcohol. It's not worth it. You're going to get much better therapy, much better healing, and much more self-realization if you go there with a clean heart and a sober mind. And for a lot of us, we have some serious issues we're trying to cope with, and we end up on medications or we self-medicate, and there's no shame in that. If you're dealing with things, and you figured out how you can cope with it, then you're blessed in a lot of ways. But if you're going for camp life, then don't bring drugs or alcohol. That's why we pray instead. we find that same sense of peace and calm through prayer. So yeah, again, I was just thinking about being in camp, and one of the things that we prayed for all the time is we prayed that people would show up. We prayed that people would come and support us. You know, all of the food and material support and everything was great, and it was important, but we really needed bodies. We needed people there to do the things. And so, you know, I imagine it's the same way at the camps that are currently popping up and calling for people, is that they need people to do the things. So if you go to camp, like, it's important to pray, and it's important to sit around the sacred fire and everything, but spend some time gathering firewood, spend some time hauling water, doing dishes. You know, we had a lot of tourists at Sacred Stone Camp that came through just for a weekend, and they wanted to help, but it was hard to find direction. And a lot of us who are like there at camp for the long term, we could stop whatever it was we're doing and give direction to you guys. But it really makes a huge difference if you can self-direct. So if you find yourself going to camp, instead of turning to someone who's busy doing things, try and figure out a way to do something productive, even if it's just picking up trash, and self-motivate, self-inspire, self-direct, because camp life is already so busy all the time that unless you have someone who's specifically designating to facilitate people and projects, it can take away from all the other projects that we're trying to do if we have to stop what we're doing and help you find a place to be productive. So, you know, it's super important to like sign petitions, make phone calls, send emails, show up at protests, divest. All that stuff's really important. But what I felt we needed when I was in camp more than anything else is people to show up. So I encourage you to check out your feed, check out my feed, see if you can find somewhere in your area where there's a resistance camp happening. Show up and lend a hand, because my guess is that there's probably an underwhelming amount of people and an overwhelming amount of work. That's the way it was when I was at camp, and I imagine that's the way it is at all camps. So just wanted to touch base with you guys before I walked away from the Wi-Fi here, and just encourage you, you know, just take some encouragement from this. Obviously, don't do anything stupid. Like, this is my disclaimer. This is just, I'm just trying to document a place in time and give positive encouragement to people to do good things and right action. So anybody watching this video, you shouldn't take anything away from this video other than encouragement to be peaceful, be prayerful, be sober, and be supportive of the nonviolent people in your area that are actively trying to make the world better. You know, there's something that you could do in a peaceful, prayerful, legal way today to protect the water. And I just wanted to encourage you guys to do that. So again, the camps that I know of, that are the states that have camps in them currently that I know of: Texas, Oklahoma, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Florida, you know, and then there's bound to be others that I don't know of. And a lot of, you know, if you're a DAPL or if you're a goon watching this, then go ahead and turn it off right now, because this information is not for you. But there are definitely camps out there that are not advertising themselves. They're just water protector camps of water protectors doing the things. They're not trying to get volunteers. They're not trying to teach workshops. They're not asking for donations. They're just doing the work. So if you know where those are, if you can find your way to one of those camps, and I'm super proud of you. And I know you guys are already doing the things. But yeah, I'm just asking you guys, support your water protectors, do what you can to make the world better. Even if it's just pray by the water, you know, that's not a small thing. Go and pray. And Anyway, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you real soon.